Roll for Crit reporting at Gen Con 2018. And at this Gen Con, we played Gen 7. This is the new Plaid Hat title that has been announced, and it is the first Crossroads game for them to release outside of
Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter, thank you. I am
That's why
trying
I'm
to remember
here.
everything. But the way it works is you are the 7th generation to wake up in sort of this huge space colony. And, you know, everything's been going great until, of course, when you wake up. So each player is going to sort of be in charge of a area like biological, mechanical, and stuff like that. And you actually don't have a character like in the zombie game, but you actually roll dice. And the D8 is you, while the D6 are the rest of the crew. And you also get a personal card, though, like a friend. They say relationship. They were very vague on that. And that's where the crossroads really come in. Whenever you use your die instead of the others for worker placement, you have to draw a crossroads card if it looks, depending on where you placed it, or if it's someone's relationship, it'll read them. And what's cool is, for example, we had someone who did get a relationship one, and then it said, depending on your choice, write down a number on a sheet, and you actually add a new crossroads card. So in essence, it's a continuing story, because what this game does, what the other one did, this one's a campaign.
Right. Yeah, so it takes place over 7 games, and while it's not a legacy game, so you could replay the same campaign multiple times and make different choices and different things could happen, you are getting upgrades and points for your individual characters that you want, sort of your own personal goals, and as you play, your position could change. Again, the choices you make could change aspects, might add new cards to the decks in the game, so it's definitely kind of, you know, if you want something that you can play together with people, but you can go back to it and do it again. You're not ripping up any cards or anything like that, which is nice for us.
Well, I was, because I just wanted to make it very clear.
You're just doing that.
Yeah,
for fun.
and there are secret goals just like in
Dead of Winter,
and even more so. They're like, you get more, and I felt like in this game, unlike the Winter game, people are much more aggressive.
I think that definitely depends on your group.
That does.
But I will say, there is, unlike Dead of Winter, there's no hidden traitor.
Right.
So no one is trying to actively sabotage the game.
Well, I think because of that, people are fine being greedier because they don't want to be seen as
they're not afraid to be accused.
Right. Which is interesting because
I kind of like that.
I did ask because I was sort of getting a little annoyed. Like, so what about scuttling the ship? He's like, we've prepped for that. So that can happen.
That's a little scary. Yeah, and I mean, it's a worker placement game at its core, where your workers are dice, and depending on where you put them and what values they are, changes things. Not knowing anything about this game other than it was new Crossroads from Plaid Hat.
Yeah, I don't think either of us knew.
It was, it was just announced. Yeah, I expected it to be really very similar to Dead of Winter, and while it kind of is in some ways, it's pretty different. They kind of took the idea of Dead of Winter, where you roll your dice for your actions, but now it's much more, you're putting them actually in different locations. It feels actually more cooperative to me, because there's some things where you have to work together a lot more, but at the same time you have the balance.
Like you said, it depends on who you play with, because I actually we
played 2 different demo tables, so I think we had different experiences.
So like one person didn't want to help.
Yeah, no,
that was really interesting.
I had a thing that if I helped with 2 of the critical missions during the round, I got more points, so I actually really did want to help.
Right, because that's the thing. If you get more points, you get more ability, so everyone wanted to go for top dog.
Right.
And then the other cool thing is the end of the mission. I don't think you reach this, because without trying to be too spoilery, you'll read a passage, and then you'll have to all vote on what you hear in that. And depending on what you did in the game before, you're going to have a certain value on a track that's pretty much equivalently logic versus emotion. And that will vote towards one of those answers automatically before everyone else votes. So we were already 2 towards emotion. We're very emotional people at our table. And so if anyone voted with them, it automatically would have gone that way, regardless of what everyone else voted.
And it's kind of like Dead of Winter, where you do the thumbs up.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So that was a very interesting thing, and it was obvious the story-wise we're all talking about, like, what could it be? Oh, it could be this. Oh, you think it's that? Oh, that's a, you know. So it was really cool. This sounds like a game a lot more, if you love those story kind of games, but want something a bit more gamier, this will fit it, because the campaign is a lot, I think the story sounded really cool. Definitely if you love a space thing, obviously. But, you know, for me, there's so many different outcomes, and just knowing how that can play out. You know, it's like a choose your own adventure, except it's not just reading a book.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more than that. The logic and motion track I want to go back to, because that also comes to play a lot in those Crossroads cards. And the way the Crossroads cards work, I feel like, is actually very different from Dead of Winter, because it's not every single turn. Like you said, it's only when you place a specific die. So I like that, because I think maybe they realized that a lot of those Crossroads cards a lot of the time just didn't trigger. So I think maybe now they're free to kind of make them maybe more interesting, because they can put in fewer of them because they don't trigger as often, but they could maybe be more impactful in the long run.
Oh yeah, well, I know the character card you're given, that's sort of the one you have a relationship with. I read the back of mine, and he's talking about how the guy just had his first kid, and you didn't want to have to make him go back to work and force him to put the kid like into the school and stuff.
School.
Like, well, I think like it's like for if the parents
boarding
can't
school?
do it. Yeah, in essence. So I was just like, and it says you're dreading to make the choice. I'm like, oh no, if I get my Crossroad, this is going to be bad.
yeah. Those different relationships are very, very interesting.
Like, it doesn't feel like us, oh, you know, we're playing with a Santa and a dog who has a shotgun.
And I appreciate that the campaign is 7 games, which I feel like is very reasonable compared to even Pandemic is, what, 15, and that's if you are successful.
Isn't it 12? Isn't it an entire year?
12 years.
Months.
How many months are in a year? I forget. Anyway, it's a lower number than we're used to. Certainly something like Gloomhaven, for example, that we're coming off of. And what it sounded like from the rulebook was each mission didn't have a specific win-lose goal. It wasn't really until the very end of the campaign,
unless you travel the ship. Like
unless the ship explodes, that you get a real conclusion to your story. So it's not like, oh, we need a certain number of points. I think that will emphasize that narrative aspect a lot more. That it will really feel like a natural storytelling thing.
Right, and hopefully that would help a bit more with the cooperativeness, because you could be like, I get more points now. But if I end up blowing up the ships in this story, sure, this won't kill us, but next thing, oh, that's going to be fun.
So, yeah, I'm definitely really excited. I mean, the Crossroads cards, I think, are so great.
I do know a big thing people brought up at my table is the price point. It is a bit higher.
I don't know what it is. How much is it going?
They didn't say that. They just said it was, some people are worrying about the price because, you know, a lot of people are like, why does it have a lot of minis? But because, you know, this has a campaign book and so many cards and all this stuff, it's like it's a lot of paper. And if you lift a lot of, like, RPG books, that's heavy. It's a lot of stuff. So I think that's something a lot of people are going to have to bring into.
We'll have to wait and see exactly what it comes down to.
But I will say that it did feel like a really great game in terms of, if you like really getting to the theme. Like, I did have some of those people who were really competitive, but some people who are really into the story and stuff, and getting like, I'm going to be the cooperative, helpful person and stuff like that. So I think you can have like that fun sort of Star Trek bridge crew experience in this kind of thing. I mean, with a bit more like the newest Star Trek.
Yeah, yeah. If you're playing in a game too with the people you know for 7 games, you might want to try to be a little nicer to them, knowing that you're gonna have to live with them for the next 7 sessions. Well, then get ready to not have a good time when everyone kicks you out of the group. Anyway, it's Gen 7, and they said it is scheduled to be released hopefully later this year, but that could be pushed. It's not certain yet. Like and subscribe for more Gen Con 2018 coverage.
And enter our contest for a chance to win some Gen Con games in the description down below.